Have you ever looked at a nutrition label and wondered, percent of what? Or heard someone say, you need 1000 milligrams of calcium per day, and thought, how do they know that? Today, I will explain the science behind nutrient recommendations, specifically the Dietary Reference Intakes, often called DRIs. If you are a nutrition student, health professional, or someone who wants to understand how nutrient needs are determined, this lesson will give you a good foundation. Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Ibukun Adedokun, an integrative and functional nutritionist and certified juice therapist. I help individuals prevent and recover from chronic disease by restoring balance through personalized gut health solutions. The objectives of this video include what DRIs are and why they matter, the different categories within DRIs, how they are determined, how to apply them in real life. Let's begin. What are DRIs? DRIs are a set of recommendations developed by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine to describe the amounts of specific nutrients and energy that people should consume to stay healthy. It outlines the necessary amounts of nutrients and energy for health. DRI standards are specific to the US and Canada, aiming for generally healthy individuals. It is important to note that individuals with specific health conditions may have different nutrient requirements. Establishing DR values. DRI is developed by nutrition scientists, a committee of scientists representing the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. They help determine nutrient requirements for the prevention of deficiencies and chronic disease, and excessive amounts for potential toxicity. What exactly does this committee do? They review scientific research on nutrient functions, health outcomes, and deficiency and toxicity risk. They evaluate clinical trials, population studies, and biomarkers to determine nutrient needs across life stages. They establish reference values like estimated average requirement, recommended dietary allowance, adequate intake, and tolerable upper intake level. They define estimated energy requirement, EER, and acceptable micronutrient distribution ranges, AMDRs, for micronutrients. Their recommendations are peer-reviewed and published for public health policy, clinical practice, and nutrition education. There are two main categories of DRI. Number one, recommendations for energy intake. This recommendation helps to answer how many calories are required and how much energy should proportionately come from carbohydrate, fat, and protein. Number two, recommendations for nutrient intake. This recommendation helps to answer how much of each nutrient should be consumed and how much is excessive. There are two types of DRI recommendations for energy intake. Number one, estimated energy requirements, EER, an estimate of how many calories a person needs to consume on average each day to stay healthy based on their age, sex, height, weight, and physical activity level. Different EER is required for different groups. For example, adults, children, pregnant or lactating women, and physical active individuals. The EER is considered a ballpark estimate of a person's caloric needs. The way people process and utilize energy is highly variable, and two people can have the same sex, weight, height, and level of physical activity, but different caloric needs. Number two, acceptable macronutrient distribution ranges, AMDR. This is the calculated range of how much energy from carbohydrate, fat, and protein is recommended for a healthy diet. The AMDR recommendations are based on balancing carbohydrate, fat, and protein to allow for adequate amounts of all three, and they are wide enough ranges that many different types of diets can fit within them. There are 4 different types of DRI values used to describe recommendations for intake of individual nutrients. Estimated average requirements, EAR. Recommended dietary allowances, RDA. Adequate intakes, AI. Tolerable upper intake levels, UL. Estimated average requirements, EAR, is the amount of a nutrient that meets the requirements of 50% of people within a group of the same life stage and sex. EAR values are most important because they are used to calculate the recommended daily allowance values, which are commonly used as population-wide recommendations for nutrient intake. Recommended dietary allowances, RDAs. These are nutrient recommendations that are set to meet the needs of the vast majority, 97 to 98%, of the target's healthy population. The RDA serves as a better guideline for the population, as it can be inferred that those consuming the RDA of a specific nutrient are likely fulfilling their dietary requirements for that nutrient. The RDA serves as a guideline, and adhering to the RDA indicates a high probability of fulfilling your actual nutrient requirements. We have more flexibility in nutrient intake due to our ability to store, metabolize, and excrete extra nutrients, so taking slightly more than our body's requirement is acceptable. Adequate intakes, AI. These are nutrient recommendations set when there is not enough evidence to establish an RDA, based on observing healthy people and seeing how much of the nutrients in question they are consuming. An AI is less accurate than a recommended dietary allowance, RDA. Although in the absence of an RDA, the AI serves as our most informed estimation of the essential nutrient intake. If an RDA for a nutrient is unavailable, the AI serves as the target for nutrient intake. The AI is designed for a healthy demographic and is not intended to adequately serve specific at-risk populations, such as premature infants. Tolerable upper intake levels, UL. This is the highest level of continuous intake of a particular nutrient that may be taken without causing health problems. It is important to avoid consuming nutrients exceeding the UL in a balanced diet, as this could lead to nutrient toxicity. Nutrients not assigned a UL do not necessarily mean they are safe to consume in large amounts, as the toxicity of many nutrients is still being studied. Life stage and gender differences. Nutrient requirements vary based on infants, children, adolescents, adults, pregnancy, lactation, and older adults. For example, iron needs increase during pregnancy, calcium needs increase during adolescence, protein needs may increase in aging. DRIs are always listed by life stage and biological sex. This prevents underestimating or overestimating nutrient needs. Utilizing DRI values. The Dietary Reference Intakes serve as a guideline for individuals to access and plan their diets, emphasizing that meeting these recommendations over several days is sufficient rather than daily. The DRIs are also utilized by various professionals and organizations for dietary planning, education, and monitoring. DRI helps individuals access and plan diets with a safety margin. Applications of DRIs. Health professionals use DRIs for dietary counseling and menu planning in institutions. Dietary guidelines development. DRIs influence guidelines like the US Dietary Guidelines, My Plate, and Canada's Food Guide. Nutrition labeling. DRIs are used to inform nutrition facts and supplement facts labels. Assistance programs. DRIs are used to ensure alignment with programs like school meals, WEEK, and SNAP. Nutrition monitoring research compares dietary surveys with DRIs to access national health. Military. DRIs are used to guide nutrient needs for armed forces and meal planning. Food and supplement industries. DRIs are used to inform the development of healthy food and safe supplements. Conclusion. DRIs are scientifically developed guidelines that help prevent deficiency and toxicity in healthy populations. Nutrition is more than numbers. It's about physiology, context, digestion, and individuality. If you found this lesson helpful, subscribe for more science-based nutrition education. And in my next video, I will discuss how to interpret nutrition labels using DRIs. Until next time, remember, DRIs provide information that may help with your food choices, and understanding nutrient requirements empowers you to make informed decisions. These are my references. See you in the next video.